Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike the Intern, Ned Reynolds in the studio on a Monday morning. So the Kansas City Chiefs are the Super Bowl champions, my guy.
Great game. Very interesting football game. Last team with the ball, and this is what you want championships to be. Last team with the ball gets the win, and Kansas City did a beautiful job of milking the clock down the stretch, helped out by a holding penalty, and hey, that's all part of the football game. I thought Philadelphia played a terrific game, especially in the first half, and I thought they had that game put away, leading 24-14. But Philadelphia had not played a team like Kansas City all year long because there is no team like the Chiefs. They are so different and so resilient to any kind of negativity that they were able to come back and get the victory out of this one and play very well. There were some key moments. I thought the fumble by Jalen Hurts, in which Nick Bolton went in for the touchdown, that was a momentum turner right there. But then by the same token, Philadelphia coming back and tying the game on some really gutsy play by Jalen Hurts. In which he ran, what did he run for, 70 yards in the game and passed for 304, something like that. This guy had a magnificent football game. But these are situations that Philadelphia did not face during the course of the season. Yeah, they lost 3 games, that's true. But by the same token, so did the Chiefs. It's a situation in which you take what your strength is, and Kansas City is resilient. That is one of their strengths. And they play well when they have to. That's one of the keys. That's coach coming back and making them do what they need to do. I was very impressed with both teams, but the better team won the game, and Kansas City was the better team in the clutch last night.
I was sitting there because if you've been a Chiefs fan as long as I have, 40 years or longer, you know just as well as I do, it's never easy for the Chiefs. It never is. Towards the end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth, I remember standing outside at Coyotes and I looked at my buddy and I said, at the end of the day, I cannot say one bad thing about the Chiefs and their performance tonight. Same thing with the Eagles. They both played incredible football last night, and that is exactly what you want. But just to piggyback on what you said, you're right. The NFC has got some talent and they have some good teams, but the AFC is just a little bit more grittier. They're just a little bit more bloody. You could just see there's a little bit more chip on the shoulder of some of these games that we played over the course of the season that led us to this moment and was able to let us be resilient, like you said, because we'd been there before. The Eagles hadn't really had to face a situation like that.
Well, Philadelphia was in the playoffs last year, but they were a wild card team, and they didn't stay there very long. But they are building their ball club, and Sirianni has done a nice job of putting them together. I'm not going to disagree with you. You've been a Chiefs fan for 40. I've been an Eagles fan twice that long, son. So don't give me any of this crap about how you're loyal Chief. Hey, Philadelphia's my club. I bet on Kansas City to win because I knew they would. They're the better of the two teams.
You made some scratch.
We made this, made a little chocolate chip out of it. The fact of the matter remains, and you make a very good point here. We mentioned this on Ned Talk yesterday. At least, I don't know if the other guys agree with me or not, but the AFC in the way the Chiefs played it this year is more competitive than the NFC, especially the NFC East. Philadelphia had it's not a patchy schedule. There is no such thing in pro football as a patchy schedule, but it was a less challenging schedule than what Kansas City had. And the Chiefs were able to overcome that. That is why they came back in the second half, because they had faced adversity. Philadelphia, to some extent, had, but maybe not quite to the level that the Chiefs had, and that made a big difference. There were some key moments, and I think Kansas City was able to create those key moments. Down 24-14 at halftime, I thought this is over. Philadelphia will cement them in the second half, and they did not. They did not come out ready to put the clamps on the Chiefs because Kansas City is better, and because Mahomes is the catalyst. And what is he, 27 years old? He stays injury-free, Mikey, and with this same kind of motivation, which when you're making $500 million a year, you damn well better. It's not $500 million a year. It's $500 total contract. But That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is.
And if he has the motivation behind that, which he obviously does, they'll be around for a while. I think the Eagles will be. Eagles and Chiefs play in the regular season next year in Kansas City. That could be a harbinger of the Super Bowl next year. These are two good teams.
Chiefs already favored to win it again, or at least go back in 23. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, it was an incredible game, and ups and downs. You're right. Going into the end of the first half, Mahomes is limping off the field, and I'm going, oh my God, what are we going to do here? But they came back and they were resilient, and they're 2-1 in championship games.
He is better on one leg than most quarterbacks.
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
The guy can do a lot of things. He has marvelous athleticism, and he knows this, as does everybody. That doesn't last forever. He will eventually begin, especially if he stays or gets some injuries, and he had one here. Now he'll get over that high ankle sprain, especially now since he won't be playing, and it'll heal up, and by next year he'll be ready to go. But he is vulnerable at the quarterback position, and vulnerable the way he runs. If he stays injury-free and the Chiefs stay injury-free, yeah, they'll be back next year. They're a very good football team.
Absolutely, man. Just what an incredible season. I just can't believe this is happening. As a Chiefs fan this long, I never thought we'd have 2 Super Bowls in 4 years. Unbelievable. Despite what I would tell you, that there was only one game played in the entire world yesterday, which the Kansas City Chiefs won, that would not be the truth. There was a lot of sports yesterday, including our Missouri State Bears and Lady Bears. They both played, right?
And they both get wins, and they both were on the road. Now, those games all started way before the Super Bowl did, so it was fine. The ladies and the gentlemen could watch on their bus or however it is they got home. Guys go to Evansville. Now, Evansville's in last place in the Missouri Valley Conference, but they gave the Bears fits. But the Bears pulled it out. Missouri State won it 66-60, and they pulled it out in the final few seconds and did it with some pretty good basketball. Donovan Clay's re-entrance into the lineup after a couple weeks of illness has really made a big difference. He had 17 points. Alston Mason, who is a transfer from Oklahoma, although he was raised up in Overland Park, he had 18 for the Bears, and they played well, but it was a surprisingly close game. I thought the Bears would win by more than that. Lady Bears were playing the league leader, Illinois State, in Normal, Illinois. Now, the Lady Bears were coming off a victory over Bradley on Friday, a game in which Missouri State struggled mightily, and Bradley is way down in the standings, like they're in last as well. But Bradley had them beaten. Lady Bears came back, won the game in the second half, and that's what you have to do. In this game, the Lady Bears pulled out in front, stayed there, and win the game 71-66. Big win for the Lady Bears. They're all heading down now toward the tournament, which will be starting in just a couple of weeks. The guys play in St. Louis, as everybody knows, and the ladies play up at the Quad Cities area, and that's a week later. And the winners of those tournaments are the representatives in the NCAA National Tournament. So big wins for both teams on yesterday. So Missouri comes out in front here, and with the Kansas City Chiefs winning as well. Pretty good day.
Really was a good day for Missouri sports in general. Missouri baseball as well as basketball is on the slate as well. What'd they do?
They opened up their season in Memphis against Christian Brothers College down in Memphis. The CBC team, and this is the college team, not St. Louis CBC, is mediocre. Drury is getting a whole lot better. Drury won both games on Saturday, did lose yesterday 20-13. Obviously not very much of a defensive game there, and not very much pitching either. But you kind of expect that early in the season. But Drury is now 2-1 to start out the season, and that is very, very good. And as far as the Drury basketball teams were concerned, they played on Saturday and both got wins over UMSL, Missouri St. Louis, and that's also top-notch.
It's crazy to think that we have already begun baseball in some areas.
Bears open up this week.
Yeah, it's crazy. But you know what? I'm not complaining either. All right. The only remaining undefeated teams in women's basketball played yesterday, so that means there's only one undefeated team.
And the
remaining.
one undefeated team is the reigning national champions. Now, these are conference teams. You knew they were going to play. It's not something that was specially scheduled. South Carolina and LSU, and it was not close. South Carolina ran Kim Mulkey's ball club out of the ballpark. That's a big win for South Carolina. And you have to give the Lady Gamecocks, who are the reigning national champs, that is their 30th, I believe, their 30th straight victory. They have won 30 in a row, and at the rate they're going now, nobody's going to stop them on their road to a national championship again. Of course, you've got to go through a tournament, and anything can happen in tournament play. But South Carolina is really, really good basketball team. They're number one. Interestingly enough, the men's number one team, Purdue, lost again yesterday, fell to Northwestern this time, so they will be, I'm sure, knocked out of first place. But South Carolina wins it, beats LSU big, and that's a big win for USC. And that's not Southern Cal, that's South Carolina.
Sometimes I don't know how the hell you keep up with all these sports when the Kansas City Chiefs are winning world championships.
Well, you've got these nice little gimmicks that we have now called cell phones and things like that. And that does help.
Yeah, I'm sure it does a lot better than it used to be, waiting for it to come down the wire, Ned. You have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.